Hey everyone, so if there is one decision in my 20s that completely changed my life, it was some big career leap. It was starting a business or finding new sources of income. It was honestly just choosing this idea to live cheap when everyone else in my friend group and my age group was trying to flex their money, trying to show off what they had. And before you roll your eyes, I get it. No, I am not saying you need to live like a hermit and never spend a dime. That is not the goal here. I am just saying that learning to live not only below your means, but way below your means. Especially early on, it gives you a kind of freedom that most people in their 20s will simply never get to experience. And I know I am only 25. I am still figuring things out. But I've been truly living way below my means for the past 2 years, and it has completely changed my outlook on finances and what financial freedom actually means to me. So let us start with a bit of a reality check. Our Generation S financial landscape is, let's be honest, a little brutal right now. Student loans, interest rates, they through the roof. It is insane. Inflation has just eaten away at the dollar bill, at what our money can actually buy and what it is truly worth. And the job market, well, I know sometimes the numbers in the news make it seem like things are doing better than they actually are, but in reality, the job market is shaky at best. I know a bunch of you guys right now have commented that you are really struggling to find a job, and I was definitely in that position too, not that long ago. So it is no surprise that over 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And once you are in that cycle, once you are stuck there, breaking free is honestly the hardest part. It can be incredibly difficult, especially if you get a pay raise. It almost makes it even harder sometimes because you are so deep in that cycle of spending all your money, every penny you earn. But the absolute best time to avoid falling into that trap, into that cycle, is in your late teens and your 20s. Before you've taken on huge responsibilities like a mortgage, like kids, or even just what we call lifestyle inflation. And the main problem, the really big problem, is that we just spend too much money on dumb stuff. Cars, rent, random luxury purchases that we tell ourselves we need. It just eats people alive financially. The average car payment right now is anywhere from the high 500s to the low 800s a month. That is a huge chunk of change. Average rent. You are looking at $1,700 to $2,000 a month, depending on where you are trying to live. And just overall spending, basically we rebuying wants instead of true needs over time. That can hit anywhere from $300 to $500 a month if you are not careful, if you are not paying attention. And the kicker, the really frustrating part, is that most of those costs are always self-inflicted. No one truly needs a $50,000 car at the age of 22, but I've seen it happen again and again with my own eyes and with my own bank account. No one needs to pay $3,000 a month in rent just to live in a cool spot or to have a two-story house, but people do it and then they wonder why they can save any money, why they feel stuck. Let me give you guys a perfect example of how I messed up, how I completely screwed up in my late teens and my early 20s when I was younger. And honestly, still now, I've always been really into cars. It is just something I've always loved, and I know I've talked about my cars a few times before, but in December of 2018, when I was just 18 years old, I went out and I bought a Subaru WRX with my own money. My dad co-signed, which was a huge help, and I was super excited about that car. Well, not only was I able to only enjoy the car for a short time, I ended up putting a ton of money into that car. And all in all, when it came time to sell it, I actually lost money on the car. After all the upgrades, after everything I still owed on it, I ended up losing money, but that didn't stop me because not even 2 years later, I sold that car, lost a bunch more money on it, and then I went and bought a BMW. Why? Because I wanted to, have that nice car. I wanted to upgrade. I wanted something faster. I knew it was nicer. I put a bunch of money into that one too. Spent a lot of time and effort building this car up, making it exactly what I wanted. And not even 3 years later again, in July of 2023, I convinced myself that the smartest thing for me to do was to sell the BMW, which I was going upside down on and lost all my money with when it came to upgrades, and buy a brand new Model 3 Performance Tesla. My reasoning, I was telling myself I was saving money on gas at the time. I genuinely thought I was doing the best thing for myself, making a smart financial move. But looking back on it now, it was probably one of the dumbest financial mistakes I've ever made in my entire life. And ever since then, I know as of now, that is not even 2 years ago, I completely got out of the Tesla. I just ate the cash on it, took the loss, and now I have a Jeep. And yeah, my Jeep payment is in the low 300s a month, but that is the lowest car payment I've ever had since I was 18. So realistically, I am finally living below my means when it comes to cars. But before, I was just throwing money away when it came to cars. And granted, yes, I enjoyed the experience I had with those cars. I made some good memories, but looking back on it, I didn't need to upgrade them that much. I didn't need to put that much money into them. I could have just enjoyed them, kept them for longer, or paid down my principal. But instead, I was always trying to replace something great with something I perceived as better, something new and shiny. And I think the biggest trap that I fell into in my early 20s and my teens, the one that really got me, was the I deserve it trap. I think that is one of the biggest wealth killers, especially in your 20s. That mindset of you've earned it, so you deserve it, so you work hard all week. When I was working those two jobs, I was working 50 to 60 hours a week if you combine the two. So I convinced myself that I deserved it. I deserved the expensive weekend. I deserved the new watch. I deserved the new phone. I deserved that expensive car payment, even if I already had all of that, even if everything I owned worked perfectly fine. And the problem is this justification, this internal dialogue. It becomes a habit. So suddenly, every time I got a bonus or a raise or some extra money from a side hustle, I blow it instead of investing it because I was telling myself that I deserved it. And look, there is nothing wrong with rewarding yourself occasionally. In fact, I think we all need to do it. It is a healthy part of living, a healthy part of being human, but it needs to be planned. It needs to be intentional and not just impulsive. So next time you think, I earned it, so I deserve it, and you are about to spend a lot of money, just ask yourself one simple question. Will I still be glad I bought this a year from now? If the answer is no, then honestly, your money is better off compounding for you in the future. It is better off working for you. So to give you guys a little more backstory, when I graduated college, I started at a job where I was making around $32 an hour. This is why I convinced myself that the Tesla was a good idea because I thought I could afford it. It was the most money that I had ever earned in my life up until that point. Plus, I was doing that job Monday through Friday, and on the weekends, I was working a part-time job, so I was making good money. I felt rich. But after I realized that I was just throwing money away, after I finally got rid of the Tesla and took that hard lesson, what did I do instead? I really locked down and focused on saving. I didn't look at new cars anymore. I didn't look at designer clothing. I didn't look at random collectibles that would just sit there. I tried to keep my life as simple as possible. So instead, I kept living like I was still broke, even though I was making good money. And the main thing is because I live like this, I still live like this, and I was living like this, I was able to save and invest thousands of dollars every single year. So, I really took my savings seriously the past 2 years. And I built up a cash position of almost $60,000. Now, if you look at my net worth video, you LLC. I started trimming that down because I realized I just had way too much cash on hand that wasn't actually working for me. So I started investing that money and buying stocks and putting it into crypto, which thankfully, my money has just completely grown from that point. But the truth is, the fundamental truth is that when you live below your means, you have the availability to not only save money, but to grow your money every single year. And as we all know, that is just going to compound over time. It is no magic tricks. It is no lottery ticket. It is no secret strategy. It is just living way below your means for years and years. And that is going to pick up and really improve your financial foundation. Build that solid base. And look, don't get me wrong. I am not saying I never spent money, right? I bought things that genuinely improved my quality of life. I bought new running shoes when I wanted to. I had a gym membership. I bought books and courses that helped improve my skills, that helped me grow. Me and my girlfriend went on a few road trips and travel vacations, creating memories. But the rule I followed was very simple. Spend on things that are going to make my life better, give me memories, and give me experiences, not things that just look good to other people, things that I can send you a Snapchat of, and you get envious of, because at the end of the day, none of that stuff truly matters, right? It is all just materialistic nonsense that gives fleeting happiness. So I think the kind of 5 main lessons for your 20s, and yeah, I am only 25, but this is what I've learned so far from my screw-ups, is to drive a reliable used car. Seriously, no car payment is one of the fastest, easiest ways to keep money in your pocket. You save so much. Next is keeping your rent low. Whether you can have roommates or you can house hack or you can just find an affordable apartment in a safe area. The truth is, we don't want to be lifelong renters. I would absolutely love to own property at some point. So keeping your rent low now is the best way to save cash on hand to build up that down payment as well. Next, and you've heard me talk about this before, is avoiding lifestyle creep. Just because your paycheck goes up doesn't mean your spending should automatically go up with it. That is a huge trap. 4 is going to be investing early. Even a $100 a month from the age of 22 can grow into nearly $500,000 by retirement. Double it to $200 and you are looking close to $1 million. And I am sure most of us can find $100 a month if we really look at our budget. And then lastly is cutting the little expenses, that $19 a week habit, that latte every morning, or that subscription you never use. That is $1,000 a year, and it adds up really fast without you even noticing. So look, this is why it matters so much. If you can keep your expenses low while you are young, you give your money time to grow, time to really work for you. Not only that, but you reinforce the mindset that you can live a simple life, a fulfilling life. You don't need a lot of materialistic things to keep you happy, to feel content. And the real happiness, in my experience, comes from your money growing and creating that financial freedom, that sense of security. Every dollar that you invest in your 20s, every single dollar, it can be worth $20 to $25 by the time you retire. And I know a lot of people don't like to look towards retirement. It feels so far away. But the humble truth is that a lot of us will have to retire at some point. And that is how compound interest really gets to grow, how it really starts to snowball. And most importantly, You give yourself the ultimate freedom, the freedom to potentially quit a job you hate, to take time off, or to move abroad, to travel, or to start something new without, the crushing stress of, if I start this, how am I going to pay my bills next month? Because you have all that extra cash ready to go because you are living a financially frugal life. You are prepared. So if you are in your 20s, listen closely. This is your window. I am telling you guys, I know it does sound fun. I know it does sound cool upfront to live frugally, but be cheap. Now, save and invest the difference. That is the key, the absolute key. Save and invest that difference and spend only on things that truly matter to you, not what everyone else is talking about or what is the new trend or what you think you need to impress someone. And trust me, the future you is going to look back and think you are so happy you did this. Because I've truly been doing this for about 2 years now, and my money has grown exponentially beyond what I ever imagined. So if you guys found any value from this video, if my screw-ups helped you out, I'd really appreciate a subscription and a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.